You know, for a lot of people, retirement feels like, well, like you're closing a book. But what if it's not the end? What if it's the exact moment you finally get to write your own story? So today, we're going to talk about how to spark your own creative renaissance and build a second act that's genuinely, deeply meaningful.
This question, it can really hit you in those quiet hours. A friend of mine, Susan, she told me she found herself wide awake at 3 a.m. asking this very thing. I mean, after a whole lifetime of being the go-to person, the problem solver, the one with all the answers, that silence of retirement can be, well, pretty deafening.
It's such a strange feeling, isn't it? The calendar just clears out. The phone stops ringing. And what at first feels like total freedom can slowly start to feel like you're just floating without an anchor. That's what we mean by the quiet punch of retirement. It doesn't knock you out. It just kind of leaves you feeling a little adrift.
And listen, if this is hitting home for you, you are so not alone. Surveys show that over 40% of people over 50 feel creatively unfulfilled. There's this huge gap between wanting to rediscover a passion and actually, doing it. And that gap, it isn't about capability. It's really about permission.
So, how do we start to reframe this feeling? Well, we start by seeing it not as an empty schedule, but for what it truly is, a blank canvas. This isn't the end of the road. It's an invitation. It's a chance to finally pick up the brush and paint something just for you.
And that's where the whole mindset shifts, right? Mark Twain absolutely nailed it. The biggest hurdle we face isn't a lack of ideas or talent or anything like that. It's simply the act of beginning. It's all about giving ourselves that green light to just try again.
Okay, so where do we even start? Well, the answer is probably buried under decades of being practical and responsible. We're going to go on a little archaeological dig to find the 18-year-old version of you. You know, the one who knew exactly what made them come alive before life demanded they get a real job.
Here's a super simple but really powerful exercise. All right, grab a piece of paper. First, just list 5 things you absolutely loved doing before you were, say, 25. Not what you were good at, but what you loved. Okay, next, circle the ones you dropped for grown-up reasons. Mortgage, kids, career. Then, rate your current interest in each from 1 to 10. And finally, just pick the one with the highest score and play with it for 7 days.
And here's the key part, okay? This is really important. This is not about pressure. It's not about trying to monetize something or become a master overnight. The whole goal is just curiosity. It's about remembering that pure joy of doing something just because you want to.
Okay, let's talk about the biggest roadblock, the elephant in the room, the fear of being a beginner again. I mean, after a lifetime of being competent, of being the expert, being bad at something feels awful. But here's the twist. It's also your greatest strength.
Oh, trust me, I know this feeling firsthand. When I started making videos for some university competitions, way back when, my own brother said I looked like a hostage. And yeah, it stung. But honestly, it was also incredibly liberating because it showed me the only way forward was to just embrace the awkwardness.
So here's a little framework for you. Give yourself 3 permissions. First, permission to be terrible for 30 days. Just totally suck at it and be okay with it. Second, permission to combine your old expert skills with this new thing you're trying. And third, permission to share the journey, the progress, not just some perfect finished product.
Now look, not every hobby needs to become a side hustle or a business. Of course not. But what if? What if you start to feel that little pull, that desire to turn your passion into something that actually serves other people? Well, there's a powerful way to think about that. So let's explore how that little spark can grow into a real flame.
Start by asking yourself 4 key questions. And this first one, it's the most important. Based on your unique life, everything you've done, what are you positioned to create that literally no one else can? Remember, your experience isn't just a footnote in your story, it's the headline. All right, number 2, think about what you've survived. What lessons did you learn the hard way? Your struggles, your triumphs, they contain a kind of wisdom that you just can't get from a book. And that is an incredibly valuable resource for other people.
Third, and this is a big one, get specific. Who exactly would benefit from this? Don't try to serve everyone on the planet. Just picture one specific person who needs to hear what you have to say or use what you've created. Who is your audience of one?
And finally, think small. Seriously, what is the smallest possible experiment you could run just to test this idea? Don't try to build an empire overnight.
Think about a single workshop, one blog post, or one handmade item. Think experiment, not empire.
And this right here, this brilliantly illustrates why you're not competing with some 25-year-old in a hoodie. You should be leveraging what they can't possibly have. Sure, they might have energy, but you have wisdom. They're often chasing money, while you have the freedom to pursue meaning. They feel this need to prove themselves. You are free to simply express yourself. That is a massive, massive advantage.
And let's get super practical for a second. All those decades of professional communication skills, writing reports, proposals, endless emails, they translate directly into in-demand freelance work right now. The digital world is starving for good content, and companies absolutely value the reliability and depth that comes with experience. Your skills are more relevant now than they have ever been.
Okay, so this all brings us to what I think is the most powerful idea in all of this. Your second act, it isn't about starting from scratch. No, it's about something much, much more powerful.
So here's the bottom line. You are not trying to become someone else. This whole journey is about integrating all the parts of you, the 18-year-old dreamer, the 40-year-old expert, and the person you are right here, today. It's about becoming more fully yourself.
And please never, ever forget this. Your age, your experience, your gray hair, that's not a liability. It is your credibility. It's the proof. It's the evidence that you have navigated life, solved tough problems, and learned things that are worth sharing. It is your competitive advantage. So I'll just leave you with this thought. The question moving forward isn't about finding the right thing to do. It's about finding the courage to be more of who you already are. That 18-year-old dreamer is still in there, just waiting for permission to come out and play again. Maybe it's time you give it.